Hi, I'm Jason Carter, and I am sick and tired of Major League Baseball not caring about their fans.
And I'm Steve McCollum, and I'm sick and tired of the media and the players pushing their lack of getting paid in the NFL to us fans.
Main Event Podcast, it's next.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
You have fun at the game?
Yeah, it was so exciting. They scored the winning hit right at the buzzer.
I think he wants to come inside Utley.
He doesn't always go down.
There's a very pure art to that stroke, isn't it? Yeah, it's wonder coffee.
He starts to come and then he pulls out.
Put your testicles in the C gap.
Welcome to the Main Event Podcast, episode number 30. Jason Carter along with Steve McCollum.
Hello, hello.
I want to thank all you fans out there for listening to us. We are on Spotify, Podbean, and iTunes by using the podcast app. Also, make sure you connect with us on social media. We are on Facebook. You can find us by searching The Main Event Podcast. Also on Twitter at The Main Event Pod. You can also find me and Steve individually. I am across all platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at JasonCarter03. And Steve is
SMAC 500, SMAC 500.
And we have a lot of stuff to get into today. Got a couple big, semi-big football matchups, I guess, going on tomorrow. Had a big game last night. And also we have playoff baseball, if you've been able to watch. I don't know if you've been able to watch that, but we'll get into all that stuff here on today's show. So looking forward to it.
Excellent. So, we'll start off with my rant at the beginning, where I'm just sick and tired of the media saying and the players complaining about their pay rate and everything. So, it starts with Le'Veon Bell, obviously. You know, I don't get paid what I need to be paid, so I'm going to sit out. Now he's like talking about coming back in week 7. And the media, all the media people are like, this is why players hold out. But then last weekend, Jason, we were at the game, Cardinals Seahawks. Earl Thomas breaks his leg and goes down. It was funny because it happened on the other end of the field, and we couldn't see it. And I go, wouldn't that be funny if that's Earl Thomas and he broke his leg?
And I get on Twitter and I search broken leg Seahawks, and then, sure enough, there you have it. I was like, well,
yeah.
There you go.
Instantly, the media comes out. All the NFL media is like, this is why they hold out. Le'Veon Bell's out there on Twitter saying, you know, I'll be the bad guy. This is why we hold out. Earl Thomas had a contract. The Seattle Seahawks didn't want to pay him. They were looking to trade him. If anything, the Seahawks got screwed in him breaking his leg more than Earl Thomas did because they could have got value for him. But everybody ignores that, and it instantly goes into how players are underplayed. This is why they hold out. This is why they don't come to practice. This is why they don't play. And I'm just sick and tired of it. As a guy that sits at home, spends my money to go to the game, everybody else watching your TV, literally, you guys are just, for lack of other terms, you guys are just clowns to us. Like, when I go to the circus and a clown gets hurt, I don't care. They just bring out another clown behind him. Same thing. Earl Thomas goes down, breaks his leg. Another guy comes in behind him. I don't even think twice about Earl Thomas this week or next week unless the media keeps throwing it in my face. Because it doesn't matter if Earl Thomas is in there or not for me, because just another guy steps in there. Yeah, he's a highly talented player. Yes, the game defense isn't going to be as good without him, but that has nothing to do with how I feel about how he feels he's underpaid and he's not taken care of. We just don't care. It's the same reason we don't care about the flag, you know, who's taking a knee on the flag. It's the same reason we don't care that Le'Veon Bell's held out. People do for fantasy stats. But other than that, has anybody missed Le'Veon Bell on the football field? Anybody?
God, I'm so glad I did not draft him. I think he went like P3, man,
Yeah,
top 3 in my draft.
I told you, I was like, stay away from him. He's
not gonna happen.
Cancer. Like, nobody cares. Like, literally every week, the only reason anybody thinks about Le'Veon Bell is because either he's on your fantasy team or the media hypes about it and it's like, this is why he holds out. And I'm just tired of it. I am tired of these guys. Hold out for your money. Fine. Do whatever you got to do to make your money, but losing $800,000 a game just seems stupid to me, you know. But hey, it's your money. Don't care. Connor's right behind you, and Connor's doing a good job. Like the Steelers are still going to be 1 and whatever that they are now, even with Le'Veon Bell. The Seahawks are still going to have the same schedule without Earl Thomas. You guys, we don't care. We are sitting at home not caring about your pay and how you should be paid and all of that stuff. Like, we don't care. So media, football media, stop typing it down our throats. We do not care. Let me rephrase that. Me and a lot of other people do not care.
I think as a fan, team first, right? Like, isn't that how it usually works? And then
Football is all about laundry. Like, we root for jerseys. We root for the colors. We root for the nicknames, like the Cardinals, the Giants. Great, Odell Beckham Jr. Everybody roots for him because he's on the Giants. He leaves the Giants, and you're not going to go, I'm done rooting for the Giants. I'm going to root for whoever Odell Beckham goes to. You still root for your team. And look at the Steelers right now. You think any of the Steelers fans have stopped rooting for the Steelers? Their true fans have stopped rooting for the Steelers because Le'Veon Bell isn't there?
They booed him off the field a few times, which may not happen if Le'Veon was there.
They what?
They booed him off the field a few times.
Yeah, but that's because the team's playing bad, They would boo him off the field if Le'Veon Bell was there and they played bad and everything. So that's the thing about football. Is everybody wants to make football like baseball and like basketball, where the players have more say and the players have guaranteed contracts and the players can garner their money. Football just isn't that way. It's never going to be that way.
I don't really think baseball's that way. Like, I do have players who I like, Mike Trout, obviously, Bryce Harper, stuff like that, but basketball, you see more and more of it because it's never, like, the last couple of years hasn't been, the Warriors, they're going to play LeBron. It's never like the Warriors are going to play the Cavs. It's always been LeBron. Even this year, will LeBron win a championship? It's not like, will the Lakers win? It's will LeBron win a championship with the Lakers?
Yeah, the basketball decided back in the early 90s to, promote individual players as opposed to teams and stuff. But baseball, the players get the guaranteed contracts and everything, but, you don't live and die. Yeah, we have players you root for, but, like, Cole Hamel, perfect example, right? He was in Philadelphia, goes to Texas, so you start rooting for him, right? So he was good in Texas. He goes to the Cubs. So we had an interest in the Cubs games where he pitched this year. So it actually had hyped the interest on that type of a thing.
Right.
So like Le'Veon Bell goes to another team. Okay, what did Le'Veon Bell do today on whatever team he goes? Let's say Jacksonville. What did Le'Veon Bell do in Jacksonville today? But I'm not going to sit down and follow Le'Veon Bell like I do in baseball, where I watched the Cole Hamel pitch or paid more attention to his game, because we root for laundry in football. Like, I'm not going to, as a Cardinals fan, and I root for Baltimore, it's a long story, everybody, and the Giants, long story, everybody, but I'm not going to stop rooting for them because some player on the team feels he didn't get paid and they cut him. Like, in football, it's a business decision because players come and go. Like, 3 years from now, nobody cares. Eric Reed signed a contract last week. Did anybody care about his football ability? All I see on Eric Reed is... Eric Reed is, all I see about him is his activism and how he actually said the other day, 400 years, this week marks 400 years since the first slaves came to America. Newsflash for you, country isn't 400 years old, but whatever you want to say, buddy.
What was it, 1776?
That's when it was discovered.
Columbus sailed the ocean blue?
Yeah, but he's like 400 years ago. But anyway, I digress. Nobody cares that Eric Reed signed with the Panthers this week, except for Panthers fans, because all they care about is if he can play or not. And all the media is pushing is his other stuff that he wants to do and all that stuff. And I'm just saying, it's just annoying as all heck. All we care about is football. All we care about is how our team plays better this week. Literally, Seahawks defense this week, they might be worse without Earl Thomas in there, but quite frankly, Seahawks fans aren't going to be like, well, if we would have paid Earl Thomas, he wouldn't have broken his leg and we'd be fine right now. Annoyed with it. Annoyed.
Same with Khalil Mack. Before the season, he was holding out. Raiders trade him. The Raider fans didn't be like, oh, we're going to be Bears fans now. They're still Raiders fans. Yeah. The media, though, is the one who's like, well, geez, John Gruden does say some weird stuff.
Say John Gruden
but
about that.
the media is the one who's like harping on, well, John Gruden, you had your guy, but, like at the end of the day, he's got his team to worry about. It's not just one individual player that makes the team. It's 53-man rosters in football, man.
And from what I read, most Raiders fans actually agree with the decision because you can't play a defensive lineman that kind of money and your quarterback that kind of money and then still sign other players. So most Raiders fans I've read agree with the decision on that, And, like, look at the Rams. Sam Darnold. Aaron Donald holds out every preseason. all the fans side, but the media, for some reason, recently too, is really harping on the players' side and how they need to hold out because they have limited careers and, you know, stuff like that. And it's just like, I don't get it, you know? It's like, it's just annoying. We don't care. Literally, most fans do not care who is underneath that helmet because 3 years from now, 4 years from now, 5 years from now, that player isn't going to be there, and we've all going to move on right now. You know, name a receiver from the winning Denver Broncos when they won the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning that year. Name a receiver.
Emmanuel Sanders? Right?
Was he there? I don't know.
I think he was.
Okay, here's my point. You know who would know that? Denver fans. You know why Denver fans would know that? Because they root for the laundry, not for anything else. Who was the guy for the Giants that caught that pass against his helmet against the Patriots?
Justin Tuck?
No.
Justin
Tuck.
Who's Justin Tuck?
He's a defensive lineman.
Was it Tuck?
No.
What was his name?
I don't know. That's my point. The guy caught the most instrumental pass in Giants history to beat the 19-0 New England Patriots to win the Super Bowl here in Glendale, Arizona, and nobody knows the guy's name anymore. And you have to think about it because you don't care who the players are. Terrell, something like that. Yeah, it'll come to me. But this is all my point is literally just substitute another player. The guy
David Tyree.
Yeah. He didn't even play another down in the NFL. Does anybody miss him? No. Not one person is like, whoa, I wonder where David Tyrell is this year, you know? You know, it's just the media hypes it. It drives me batty because we just don't care about all that stuff. We understand it's a business. We understand it's a cutthroat business. And we understand that our players aren't going to be there for very long. It's rare to have a Larry Fitzgerald. You know, the Giants were loyal to JPP through losing fingers in a firework incident and everything. JPP is in Buccaneers land this year. You don't hear anybody in Giants land talking about how they miss JPP and how they need all this other stuff and everything. It's because you move on from it, except for the media. Done. Stop it.
Done.
Talking to you, national media.
Well, in case you didn't know, which I know you don't, because the national media really isn't harping on it, the only show I ever see talking about it is SPP at night, and they only brief over it for about 10 minutes. MLB playoffs have started. We had our 2 wild card games. Actually, we had a couple of game 163s this week.
Yes, which was exciting.
Feel bad for Cubs fans. You wake up Monday with the best record in Major League Baseball, and by Tuesday night, you are out of the playoffs.
Do you really feel sorry for them because they had 2 home games and couldn't win 2 home games with their lineup?
I feel bad for the fans. I mean, the fans aren't the ones out there, you know, playing the game.
I don't feel sorry for the fans at all. Be upset. Your team freaking sucked and laid an egg at 2 home games.
I feel bad that they have to go through that pain. But you know what, Cubs fans? The last couple of years were really solid for it. You got your World Series, all right?
I'm so less sympathetic. As a Diamondbacks fan, I'm so less sympathetic because the Diamondbacks are like leading the division all year long and then don't even make the playoffs.
Being a D-backs, in D-backs country, I'm showing empathy to the Cubs, all right? Empathy.
You know what? When you're the best team in baseball, the National League, and you can't win 1 home game, let alone 2 home games to stay alive in the playoffs, I have no sympathy.
Especially on a team that traveled from the West Coast after playing the night game Monday. Gosh. Anyways, so they lose to the Brewers, go to the wild card. I mean, all the teams that are in the 163 games are going to the playoffs regardless because of the new wild card format and everything like that. But the Rockies lose. Rockies did beat the Cubs to advance to the divisional round where they lost last night to the Brewers.
In game 1. Here's my question, though, is because I actually heard an interview with the Brewers manager. So the 163...
Council?
Yeah, so the 163 games I feel actually hurt. I feel that hurt the Cubs because it takes... You know, Colorado's a different story. They come from behind all year long and everything anyway. But it takes... I mean, just going into a playoff game where the night before you play the wild card game, your whole thing is no matter what happens tonight, we're playing a playoff game.
Right.
So you don't get that build up, you don't get that enthusiasm that you get in that. And that game was kind of a dud. And so I'm wondering if, you know, from the Cubs perspective, the 163 game actually hurt a couple of those teams.
I think it did. I mean, because a lot of those teams, I mean, like... Dodgers did it with their Kershaw. Cubs didn't throw like Lester or anything like that out there. Like, that kind of hurt. I mean, you had a chance to actually get yourself into a divisional matchup and not in the wild card game where you could go multiple starters. I mean, here you just kind of had to go with your best guy. And then in the wild card game, they obviously did go with Lester.
So the interview before that game I heard from Craig Counsell was him saying, look, it's all going to be about managing. There's going to be a point where if we get down by, and he didn't say the number, but he said if we get down by X amount of runs, there's a point where we're going to throw up the red flag. And we're just going to be ready for the next day. He goes, we're not going to go through our bullpen today. We're not going to go through our lineup today. We're not going to, expense our players today and everything. And, that, which makes sense, but at the same time, it kind of takes the...
I feel like it hurt the home team more because, I mean, obviously, being the Cubs hosting that game, you want to win the division, I mean, especially at home. Yeah, and Madden was throwing out a lot of pieces. Like, that, I swear that game, like, later innings was just commercial break after commercial break just because he was throwing so many different pitchers out there. And I was like, oh my gosh, let's hurry up. I was trying to, like, sit down and, like, eat, and, like, my tab's already paid for, my water's already drank. I'm like, come on, let's go. And eventually, I was like, I threw the red flag, too. I was like, I'll just listen to it in the car.
So, like, I haven't heard anybody say anything about that, but I just kind of wonder if that kind of took some of the... what's the word I'm looking for? The, not the excitement, but
the luster?
Well, just the go get them, like do or die. Yeah, do or die for this team. Like, oh, we'll be alive tomorrow if we win. And then, anytime you go up against a team like the Rockies, who are awesome at late game comebacks where they're out of it and all of a sudden the 8th inning they come back and tie it, and stuff like that. I mean, you don't want to chance those situations because in a 1-game playoff anybody can win. So I just think that I was just curious what you thought on the 163 game. I just felt like I kind of hurt him a little bit, but
yeah, I definitely do agree with that. I think the home team it hurts more. So I mean, if the game was in Milwaukee, it probably hit the Brewers more. If it was like vice versa.
Yeah, because I mean, you're comfort at home. I mean, and that's the other thing. The Rockies, Milwaukee. Here's the other thing. Milwaukee hasn't won a division in how long? So that was huge for them to win the division, right? And the Cubs have been there the last several years. So you have Milwaukee's even stepping up a little bit more. They can beat their, I'm going to call them crosstown rivals, even though they're not crosstown, but 90 miles away. So they have an ability to beat them. They have the ability to get into playoffs, to get the number 1 seed. Because the Cubs, to beat the Cubs and all that. So, just like Milwaukee was able to step up, it just seemed like they had it, But going back to the Cubs, going to the second thing where, Colorado loses. Colorado had the same momentum that the Milwaukee had, just they lost to the Dodgers, They've never won a division title. They've never done any of that stuff. So they had a chance, they didn't. But traveling across country, knowing their backs against the wall, Colorado's the team that stepped up there. And that's what makes playoff baseball so exciting.
That is correct. Anyways, moving on to some of the other games. The Yankees played the A's on TBS in their wild card game. TBS app didn't work for the first 3 innings. It didn't. TBS, their streaming once again sucks. I don't understand why every year we succumb to TBS crappy baseball, but we are, and I hate it.
They don't. They blacked out for the whole country, and we were victims to this because we don't have cable. People were paying $25 to get it and not being able to get it, and then they finally fixed it, like you said, 3rd inning. And to be honest with you, the game was pretty much over in the 3rd inning because once Judge hit that home run in the first 2-0, it wasn't a game after that, So
I think by the time we started watching it, the A's were already working their 4th pitcher because they said this is going to be a bullpen game for us.
Yeah, well, I mean, they made that clear going in that no Yankees batter will face the same A's pitch. But yeah, I mean, I don't understand, Major League Baseball. So I mean, I know this is your rant, but yeah, I don't understand why Major League Baseball continues to contract with channels that don't regularly carry games anymore on a national scale.
And it's not so much that. I mean, if the app would have worked, it would have been fine. But it's just like every year I feel like TBS just sucks so much when it comes to playoff baseball. And then even yesterday, the Dodgers' first game, they won. They beat the Braves, but it was on MLB Network.
Yeah, I know.
And that's a game, I don't think that there's a channel streaming service. 2 million people cut the cord last year to go to streaming.
No, Major League MLB.com makes you buy the playoff package.
Yeah.
And I told you, I was like, I'm not buying the playoff package for 1 game to watch. know, and stuff like that. It's just, no, I don't disagree with you. I mean, you know, football has its problems with TV, you know, blackout rules, which I think have gone away for the most part and stuff. But I agree with you, man. This is the time of year where you want the most eyeballs on your sport, and they're just letting people down left and right.
I mean, back in the day when it was just like Fox that had all this stuff, I mean, it was awesome because you had it on like FS1, your regular Fox Sports, Fox, you know, I mean, ABC Family like had a few games that they were showing back in the day. Like, you were able to watch these games back in the day, but of course that was like all on cable and stuff. I think, you know, they're not really being too friendly to us who have cut the cord and are, you know, just streaming our devices.
Which all that does is hurt baseball because, like, I mean, you know, I have my kids this week, all week, because they're on fall break, and, you know, they're not into baseball, but they'll sit down and watch games with me if they're on. And they missed an opportunity last night. My kids were running around the living room, and they missed an opportunity last night to have, you know, young kids watching that Dodgers Braves game because, you know, they decided to do what they decided to do, and just, you know, my kids aren't going to go out of their way to watch another game.
And I think too now it's like I couldn't really care less, you know, about the Dodgers Braves series.
Well, because I never really did, because I think the Dodgers are going to win that series pretty easily. But you know, but at least that was the game that they did that on, and not what was the first game that I watched? I can't remember yesterday. Oh yeah, Milwaukee, Colorado. I mean, that was an exciting game, you know, and I was like, man, I'm rooting for Milwaukee in the playoffs, but I'm kind of like rooting for the Rockies right now because they're an exciting team to watch. They're never out of it. They can be ninth inning, 2 outs, you know, down by 4, and they're not out of it.
Who are your playoff teams
that I picked?
No, that you like for like go to win the World Series.
Oh, natural.
Like who are you pulling for?
I'm
right
Milwaukee
now?
The whole way. I want to see Milwaukee do it. Get all the way there on that side of it. And on the AL side, I mean, it's going to be Yankees or Red Sox that are going to make it. So I don't care on that side. It's just AL. Thank God the AL's all on TBS, because then it gives me an excuse to not have to watch it.
Yeah, I like the Brewers, Braves. Also, AL. I'm all in with the Indians. I think it'd be a nice fitting tribute for Chief Wahoo to go out on top.
The nice thing about the AL, well, the sad thing about the AL is I'm actually more excited about this Houston-Cleveland series in this first round than I am about whoever goes on to after that, because I think that's going to be a powerhouse. You know, a good team's getting knocked out. You know, you can say the same thing for Yankees, Red Sox too. A good team.
I mean, the two best teams in the AL are playing right there. So I mean, it's just one of those things where I think you're tired of seeing Red Sox and Yankees all day long. Like you just like, oh done. My gosh, get out of this right now. Anyways, did you see the new unwritten rules ad?
Yeah, I did. With we talked about that the other day. I didn't click on it, and then I watched it. You know, but yeah, they're definitely going after the younger crowd, which goes back ties to the point you just made. Is they're going for the younger crowd who thinks unwritten rules are stupid, but yet they pull this stuff with TBS app and MLB.com and stuff like that for the younger audience too. So, and one thing, they're coming out with an ad harping towards those kids, the kids and everything, and then at the same time they're shutting them out.
You would have a cameo from the kid, Ken Griffey Jr., saying, let the kids play.
Which I thought was the greatest thing, because when I was a kid, he was the one that everybody's like, turn your hat around, you know, quit showboating, blah, blah, blah. So I thought that was the best part of that commercial. Actually.
Best thing about playoff baseball, though, the Cubs game the other day, Contreras was like pimping walks. I love it. He was bat flipping walks. Like, that's the thing that's awesome about playoff baseball. Your team literally, like, in the third inning, down by 1 run with 2 outs, you get a walk. You're like, hell yeah, we're going to score, baby. It's time. Come on, let's go. And then they play the da-da-da-da-da-da. You're like, charge. And then, you know, next guy pops up. And then the 6th inning, you're right back at it again, you know, with another 1-out walk or, you know, little bloop single. Like, come on.
I don't know how much you saw of that Milwaukee-Colorado game yesterday, but, you know, I was watching it around the house here, and when you got home, I told you, I was like, even the commentators were like, can we stop showing the crowd here? Because it was 2-2 in the 10th. And even the commentator guys were like, can we stop showing the crowd? It's really depressing because it's 2-2 right now. They're all acting like, you know,
like, oh my God,
lose
this sucks. We haven't been here before. No.
But, you know, that's what, you know, as a non-baseball guy, I mean, that's what I love about the playoffs, especially as they go on, is, you know, you literally, every pitch is, you know, a pitch in the dirt, you know, in the second inning can actually turn into something huge by the end of it, you know. So I like it a lot, actually.
It's fun. It's a fun time.
So-
Playoff baseball is here.
So now that playoff baseball is here, we won't talk about, MVP and stuff since that wasn't there, but we made predictions at the beginning of the year.
We did make predictions.
How do you feel about your predictions?
I wasn't far off.
Yeah, I mean, you had, obviously you had Yankees in the East. Obviously, Red Sox ran away with it there. I had Boston, if I may toot my horn there. You had the Indians in the AL Central. I had Cleveland also. I mean, we both thought they were running away with that division. No questions asked. We both had Houston made it closer than it should have been, but Houston...
They pulled away late. They pulled away late.
Yeah. You had wild card one was Red Sox. I obviously had Yankees. And then we both kind of struck out on the next one there. The Angels coming in at that second wild card spot there. I
thought Shohei Ohtani was going to breathe some new life into that club, but I guess not.
Yeah, I was thinking about it when I was reviewing these things earlier, and I was like, man, I was all up Trout about how he's the best player in baseball and everything, and I'm like, I don't even know what Trout did this year. Like, nobody talked about him.
Well, he got hurt. He took some days off. Somebody died. He got married. I don't know. Something like that.
Yeah, his brother-in-law died or something. So, but I mean, in AL, we weren't too far off on the AL. I mean, the big one, of course, obviously the flip-flop, but the Angels, we both swung and missed hard on that one.
Yeah, the A's got in there, but I mean, all of our teams are in. So,
if anybody, you show me somebody that picked the A's, all these knowledgeable baseball fans, you show me one person that picked the A's would. I mean, I saw more Mariners Mariners had a better shot at it than the A's did. So
just some Oakland homer.
So then the National League, we were pretty far off, for most part on the National League.
We're way
here.
off.
NL East, you had the Nationals. I had the Nationals.
That didn't work out.
I remember saying that there's a caveat that you can't ever trust the Nationals, but I didn't think anybody else in that division. I think I even said at one point that the Mets have a chance if they stay healthy. And they proceeded to flood the DL with everything on that. Central, I had Milwaukee, which I was proud of, and I believe you laughed at me nonstop about that.
Yep.
Turns out being true. You had the Cubs. West, we both had the Dodgers, which isn't a surprise. We both had the D-backs going, which, you can't go
They were
wrong.
there.
Yeah, they should have.
They should have.
They fell apart at the end.
Screwed the pooch on that guy.
I mean, you can't guess that Colorado... We were right about Colorado not being as good as the other team. I mean, they're the only team with a negative run ratio for the other team ever to make the playoffs. So, I mean, there's no way... If you look at the stats, there's no way Colorado should be in the playoffs right now. But they are. So, it's like, what the heck? Wildcard one, we both had D-backs. Obviously, didn't work out. And then you had the Cardinals, and then I had the Cubs. So mine was accurate except for the D-backs one, and your Cardinals let you down there. We even got rid of the manager halfway through the season.
Hey, they had a valiant comeback though.
Then they fell back down again after that.
It was valiant. So anyways, I enjoyed every bit of it. We got playoff baseball even on right now. I totally forgot that the Indians and Astros were playing, so
I thought they started at 1
Eastern.
Oh, was it 1 Eastern?
Yeah, I believe so, because they were in like the 5th inning.
Oh yeah, I thought it was 1 our time. That's why I was like, let's get this done so we can watch baseball.
Well, I guess I'll just throw it up on the phone now, huh? We can watch it while we go down the rest of the show. As last night did Thursday Night Football, Andrew Luck, you had him on your fantasy football team. How did he do for you?
He came back and
got some garbage time for you?
He did. I mean, it was a blowout. It was, 24-3 in the third quarter there, I believe?
Yeah, and then I think we were out watching it somewhere, and they just scored, and it was 24-17. Like, oh, this game's not over yet. Colts are very much into this.
Yeah,
and then the Patriots just went off for like 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, I told you I contemplated benching Luck, and I was like, nah, he'll be able to score against this crappy New England defense, and I was sweating it there in the third quarter. Like, yeah, I made a wrong decision there, but no, he ended up doing all right. I mean, he could have scored. It would have been nice for him to score more. I think I ended up with 30-something points with him. It wasn't too bad at all. But, I mean, I declared last week that there's a probably 33.5 points. 33.6. But I think I declared last week there's something wrong in New England. But, I mean, the last two teams, the Dolphins, aren't good. The Colts aren't very good this year. So, but he got Edelman back, and that's the thing. That first drive yesterday was a work of art with Edelman back there. So.
And Josh Gordon got his first touchdown in New England.
Here's the thing. So, my favorite part of that is Josh Gordon gets his first touchdown, and it's Tom Brady's 500th touchdown. He's like, the ninth player in NFL? Like, the only one to do it with one team. And the trivia thing's going to be Josh Gordon recently got the catch.
Who had Josh Gordon getting that 500th touchdown? If you picked that before the year, gosh, you would have won some money on that guy.
People wouldn't have taken the bet because he wasn't even on the team then.
Right?
So.
Like, what? You're high. Don't worry. Josh Gordon's going to be the one, I know.
Yeah.
But this is kind of the part where they get into not really their easy schedule. They do have the Chiefs coming up next, and then they got that Bears defense.
Wait, who are you talking about, New England?
Yeah, New England.
No, they have a tough schedule coming up.
But then, they got Bills. I mean, they beat the Packers. So this is going to be like a tougher road, I think, for the Patriots than it has been in recent years, playing those North teams with, Packers and Vikings.
But
the Vikings defense will be better, but, those division games are all going to be cakewalks.
Their division games are awful, so, that's, 6 wins automatically for them.
So, good stuff for them. Thursday Night Football kind of is what it is. I'm kind of over Thursday Night Football again.
Yeah, I didn't even, I was flipping back and forth kind of, but once it became a blowout, I was like, Like we were sitting at the place, and the guy walks in, and he's like, "Is that the game on up there?" I go, "Yeah, it's a blowout, so you're not interested."
He goes, "Oh no, I got fancy guys."
I was like, "It's still a blowout. You're not interested." That was when it was 24-3. It's like just these Thursday night games are just dogs. It's just awful. It's not good football. They're all usually blowouts. Like last week was good with the Vikings and the Rams, but that's a rarity, and it's just not fun to watch it. And now with playoff baseball on, I was watching that because that went extra innings and everything. So
it's the time where they start mailing it in for a little bit on this Thursday night football schedule. Coming up tomorrow, though, we do have some college football games going on. I know you'll be glued to the TV at 1:00 our time. ASU taking on number 21 Colorado.
I know, and I just looked it up, and I was like, Colorado's 4-0? Like, I had no idea. So, it's a road game for ASU. They're, 2-2 now? How many games are there?
Yeah, 2-2. Colorado's 4-0. Colorado's 2.5-point faves.
No, ASU's 3-2 because they beat Oregon State last week.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So, it's a big road game for a Pac-12 matchup. I know it's not a sexy matchup for those of you not in the Phoenix or Boulder, Colorado area.
Yeah, for those of you not in the Pac-12 area.
But Colorado, been good the last few years, and a road game against Colorado definitely is not a cakewalk. So yeah, it starts at 1 p.m. our time tomorrow, which a rare ASU day game because most of the time they start at 7:30 p.m. and you're up late when you watch them. So I'm just kind of excited to see daylight while I'm watching them.
All right, hey, there you go. And then we got a couple other big matchups tomorrow with some ranked teams. Number 5 LSU is traveling to Florida to take on number 22 University of Florida, the Gators. LSU's 2.5-point favorites. Big SEC matchup. LSU is going to win this one, right?
Yeah, it's as much as I declared LSU was going to lose to Auburn a couple weeks ago, and Coach O's, magical reign was going to come to an end.
You do not
turn
back on Coach O.
Yeah, I know. Apparently not, because he won that game. But yeah, Florida's up and down this year. So unless they step up, but LSU's better than advertised.
Florida's only ranked 22 because they're Florida, which is sad. Like, come on, give me some bitter crop in there. If North Texas just would have won this past week, damn it. They would have been
He's still on the North Texas. They even brought Mean Joe Green's number back out and didn't work for him.
Speaking of game in North Texas, tomorrow, in case you haven't seen it, and I'm sure you have because you follow Fox Sports, and you're probably getting more tired of it than I am, we have the Red River Shootout. Number 19, University of Texas, taking on number 7, University of Oklahoma, or Oklahoma University, the Whitey Orange, and 0U going at it. 0U's getting 7 points.
I don't understand why this is such a national hyped up game. Like, this is just going to be awful, right? Like, OU's quarterback was benched last week, the senior guy, but I guess he's starting tomorrow now is what I was reading earlier and everything. But Texas is not a they beat SC, and SC's not that good. But yeah, Oklahoma's going to win this by 30, right? It's not even going to be a ball game, so I don't understand the hype on this at all.
It's just like Red River Shootout, man. When you're there, you're there. It's just one of those things. It takes over the entire city. It's at the State Fair of Texas, at the Cotton Bowl. State Fair of Texas just started, so everybody's all hyped up. Big Tex. College Game Day is going to be there tomorrow because they really didn't have any other games to pick from.
It's we're in that bad, it's conference games, but we're in that bad part of conference games where you play the bad teams when you're good. So, I think Oklahoma's going to run away with this by a lot. It's not even going to be close. I think Texas gives you some hope with their last couple weeks in winning and winning, fairly good margin or whatever. But it's just the talent discrepancy is really big between these two teams right now. So
I'm amazed how Texas cannot get quarterbacks from Texas. OU literally has they've got the last 5 great quarterbacks coming out of Texas. It's amazing.
Isn't it? I'll even take it a step further than that. Isn't it amazing how Texas can't get anybody anymore? When Mac Brown was there, it was guys are, I don't need to start for 3 years, coach. I'm going to come play for you, though, right?
Right.
And now it's those third string guys are going and starting at other schools, and they're getting the fourth guy that come in and he has to start.
Well, this is what Tom Herman's second year.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it might change moving on down.
Yeah, Tom Herman's probably got the best. They made some bad hires. Who was the guy before
Charlie Strong?
Yeah,
no, that was terrible.
He could recruit to save himself.
He was a great recruiter at Louisville. Well, that's when in that market, and now going to Texas, having to recruit Texas guys, it's a totally different market.
But that's when Dirk Cutter went from Boise State. When Boise State was coming up, he was the one that started that train where Boise State became good, and he came to the Pac, and he couldn't recruit anybody. He was recruiting Boise State kids at ASU,
right?
And you can't compete. It's like when Utah came into the Pac-12; they were getting dominated for the first 5 years, 6 years because they had WAC kids instead of Pac-12 kids. So same thing with Louisville is you're recruiting lesser football players at Louisville that look better because the competition's less. But when you go down to Texas, you have to step up that game because kids at Louisville are going to get their butts kicked in Texas against Oklahoma and all those guys. So.
Well, I'm gonna upset this one.
You gonna go?
Give me the Longhorns. The whiny orange, gonna get it done.
Well, why?
I don't know. I just feel like this is Tom Herman's time to shine, man. To make Texas football great again at the University of Texas, Tom Herman needs this win because that's gonna help big time as recruiting going on moving forward.
Well, you need some wins when you see the scores on our football picks that are going to be posted later today. So
definitely need some wins.
You need to pick some of these upsets because I don't like either team. I can't stand either team, so I don't have a dog in this fight. If they could both somehow lose, it would be my ideal situation. But I just don't. Oklahoma just has so much talent compared to Texas that. I know rivalry, anything could happen, blah, 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 but it seems to me in this one, Texas had a lead against TCU a few weeks ago, and they won that game. And it was the first time Texas had a lead on TCU since Mac Brown coached. How many years ago was that? 8, 9 years ago now? And... that just tells you the state of Texas, University of Texas football. And you just can't pick them on big games like this and when it's that bad.
Well, I'm doing it. Go Longhorns. Only time you hear me say that.
Hook 'em horns?
Hook 'em horns, baby. Also tomorrow, and what many are calling the biggest fight in UFC history, the light heavyweight belt will be on the line. Khabib taking on Conor McGregor. McGregor's first fight back since he lost to Floyd Money Mayweather last year.
2 years out of the octagon. 2 years.
A lot of hype around Conor McGregor. He did all his crap talking yesterday at the press conference. Did some crap talking a few weeks ago. Ripped some shots with Dana White, which was awesome. Check out that, Pure 12 whiskey?
Yeah.
I want to get some of that Pure 12 whiskey. We got to try it or something.
I don't know where you get it at.
I know a couple liquor stores are posting that they're selling it. So
in town?
I haven't seen one in town yet.
Yeah,
One of my buddy who owns a liquor store in Chicago, or works for one up in Chicago. Their store has it. So
they can't ship that. That's the problem. They changed those rules.
I don't know.
Like you can't ship like wine and hard whiskey across state lines unless they've changed it. So
I mean, I'm sure
somebody tweet us. Let us know if they've changed that rule.
I'm sure some place is going to have Pure 12. I went to the Cigar Bar the other day. They didn't have it yet, so I had Jameson. But McGregor says it's better than Jameson, so we'll see. I'll be the judge because I do like my JMO on the rocks. You know?
Well, yeah.
So who wins?
Oh, McGregor's going to run away with it. It's not going to be close. I'm not even going to... we'll be busy. We have to work tomorrow night, but...
Always missing fights?
I wouldn't mind even if I was sitting at home with nothing going on, because McGregor's going to win it. It's either McGregor's going to win it and dominate it and it's not going to be worth it, or McGregor's going to get upset early and you're not going to want to watch that anyway. You're not going to want to pay for that anyway, so...
You're like, what the hell happened here?
Did you watch the conference? I know we talked about it, but I don't know
Yeah,
if
I caught some of the highlights of it.
So what do you think?
Just Conor being Conor.
Right, but I know, but did you see the body language and the way his opponent was in there? Like, I don't know, I don't want to use the word scared, but it almost looked like he did not want to be there. And that's not good going into a fight.
I feel like a lot of that stuff, though, with Conor now, like a lot of these UFC guys, cause especially after Conor did that media tour with Floyd Mayweather, where the first, like, they had, like, the 3, stop deal. The first one in Vegas, Conor looked so out of place. And then they did that second one in Toronto, and he just, like, went off on Mayweather. It was like, oh, my gosh, like, Conor, you got to tone it down now. So I think, like, that guy going in there, he's just like, really, like, we got to do this freaking, like, it's a circus. And he's like, I just want to fight,
But that's what Mayweather does, though, man. I mean, that was Tyson's magic. Tyson won the fight before you even walked out of the locker room, and that's what McGregor does, too. But, dude, I can't speak for UFC as much because I'm not into it as much as I am, but like with boxing, you can tell when two fighters are going to the ring. You can almost predict who's going to win that fight just by the way they walk in, Like if you're paying close enough attention, a lot of times you don't have to be paying attention. Like when McGregor beat Diaz, I remember, and everybody was like, Nate Diaz is going to dominate this fight, blah, blah. I was at McFadden's after a hockey game, and me and our buddy Chaz were standing there. And when Diaz walked into the ring, I go, McGregor's going to win this. It's not going to be close. And him and a couple other people that were around me were like, there's no way you're right on that. He walks in and knocks the guy out. The guy basically falls down when McGregor hits him. Because you can just tell if your heart's not in it. And it starts in that type of environment where if you look timid, which I thought he looked timid. I thought, like I said, scared's not the word I want to say, but even if that was his attitude, like you said, where he's like, I don't want to deal with this, he's already lost the battle. Because that's what you have to deal with. And you're going to have to deal with it when you get in the ring, because Conor's going to stand there and walk around him and talk trash in the ring right beforehand and everything. So you got to deal with it. So, yeah, anyway, Conor's going to win by a landslide.
I like Conor. I'm going Conor. I don't even know how the other guy's record is.
It doesn't matter. That's my point.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I like Conor. Anyways, big football coming up on Sunday. Week number, 5 now? We're in week 5? How awesome is that? Football season just moving around along. Titans and Bills going to kick things off for us on Sunday, 10 a.m. Man, Titans 5.5-point favorites in Buffalo, taking on the 1-3 Bills. Titans coming off a big win against the Eagles. Give me Tennessee Titans all day in this matchup.
Titans. I like their aggressive maneuver. Their head coach goes for, everything's going right for the Titans right now.
Rabel going for the jugulars.
Yeah, so Titans and an easy victory here.
Dolphins at Bengals. Cincinnati 6-point favorites taking on the AFC East leading team and the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, Cincinnati, they get their linebacker back that I just forgot his name that went to ASU. Vontaze Burfict comes back this week, and Joe Mixon's going to be playing this week. Cincinnati's going to win this one.
Yeah, give me Cincinnati to win this one as well. Browns going to be hosting the Ravens. Baltimore 3-point favorites on the road in Cleveland. Believe land, baby.
Last week I declared Cleveland's going to win 2 in a row. I gave you a chance, Cleveland. You're back to non-relevant in my eyes. You are garbage. You are awful. Ravens are going to run away with this.
Browns going to win. Packers at Lions. Lions 1-point favorites taking on the two 1-1 Packers. Lions, of course, coming off a big dub against the Patriots a few weeks ago and lost to the Cowboys in a bitter defeat last Sunday by a field goal.
Packers are going to win this one. Packers.
I like the Pack, too. Jaguars taking on the Chiefs. Interesting matchup here. Patrick Mahomes, the boy wonder, going up against that Jaguars defense. It is a home game, though, for the Chiefs, and the Chiefs are favored by 3.
I don't even know on this one. Like, I keep going back and forth on it. But you know what? Chiefs always start something to begin the season, and I don't think it's any different. Chiefs are going to squeak this one out.
Jaguars will get it done. That defense will show Patrick Mahomes what's up, and they will finally welcome him to the NFL. Broncos, the team the Chiefs beat last week, going on the road to the Meadowlands to take on the Jets. They're in East Rutherford, New Jersey.
As bad as the Broncos are playing, Broncos are going to win this.
Jets 1-point favorites. Don't really see that. I like the Broncos. Falcons and Steelers playing each other this week. Both teams need a win big time. Game is in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh 3.5-point favorites. I, though, will take the Falcons. Julio Jones has been wrecking shop. He leads receivers in yards this year, and Calvin Ridley leads receivers in touchdowns. Give me the Falcons all day here.
I got the Falcons also, but even though the Falcons secondary is decimated, their two starting safeties and a cornerback are all on IR. They got exposed last week. I don't remember who they played, but they got exposed last week. But yeah, I agree with you. Too much drama in Pittsburgh, and Ben can't hit open receivers. So yeah, Atlanta's going to win that one.
Final game of the early morning slate: Giants and Panthers. Giants 1-3, Panthers 2-1. Panthers 6-point favorites at home. Of course, they do have Reed playing for him this week. First game out for him. Greg Olsen still out with injury, but is expected to come back maybe potentially next week.
Yeah, I need him to come back. So, I just read that Cobb is ruled out for the Lions game for the Packers. So,
well, could be interesting.
We already made our picks. Oh well. I'm sorry. What game were we on there?
Giants and Panthers.
Oh yeah. The Giants are god awful. Panthers, even though they're coming off a bye, they're probably going to be rusty. They're going to win that game, especially with Odell Beckham making his comments yesterday and today about the New York Giants, how they have no heart and they can't play and blah blah blah. So yeah.
I think Odell Beckham's comments rally up the troops, and they play with heart this week, and they barely lose to the Panthers. Afternoon games, we got Raiders of Oakland taking on the Los Angeles Chargers of Los Angeles. Los Angeles 5-point favorites, 5.5 faves on the road, or at home, excuse me. Raiders coming off their first win, though, and a thrilling overtime defeat against the Browns last week.
Oh, win against the Browns.
Yeah, thrilling overtime win.
Yeah, Chargers are winning that game fairly easily.
I'm taking the Raiders here. I'll go Raiders here. Don't know why. I don't know.
Yeah, you obviously haven't been watching the Raiders play.
I watched a little bit last week. Cooper's back, baby. Carter Cooper connection. Let's go. Vikings and Eagles starting at 125. Eagles coming off a loss last week. Vikings need to figure out what's going on with their defense. They got rolled by the Rams last week as well on Thursday Night Football. Philly 3-point favorites at home, but I like the Vikings in this one to get things right back on track.
Yeah, Philly learned a lesson last week that they can't just show up and win a game, and the Vikings have not found their stride yet, and so Eagles are going to win this. Come back and win it.
Cardinals taking on San Francisco in San Fran. 3.5-point favorites are the Niners. Cardinals get their first win this weekend, taking on, was it Burkhead?
Burkhead, yes. Yes, I'm going with the Cardinals for their first win. They're the only winless team left in the NFL. They always struggle against bad Niners teams, and they tend to lose to them. However, Cardinals are scrambling to find a win. They played solid last week against Seattle. If their place kicker didn't miss a couple kicks, they would have actually won that game, and they're going to pull this one out in San Francisco.
Rams at Seahawks, closing out the afternoon games. Seahawks are at home without, of course, Earl Thomas. 7.5-point favorites. The Rams are 4-0. They are just going to run right through Seattle and stay on top of this division.
Yeah, Seattle did not look good last week at all. It's not going to be a ball game. Rams.
And Sunday Night Football, Cowboys going to Houston to take on the Texans on NBC. Texans 3.5-point favorites taking on the Cowboys, who renewed hope as they now are tied for the division lead.
How the hell is Houston 3-point favorites? It's just
home game. I don't know. But even that,
oh my God, Houston has looked horrendous. Even in their one win, they looked awful. Their defense is awful. Their offense can't do anything. I hate to do this, but Cowboys are winning this game.
Cowboys all day. Got to be first place in the division come Monday morning. Then you got the Redskins and Saints playing against each other on Monday Night Football. Big history will be made. Drew Brees looking to, what's he looking to do again?
Career passing yards?
Yeah, career passing yards, Drew Brees. Saints are 3-1. Redskins are 2-1. Saints did not look good last week. Barely squeaked out a win. Alvin Kamara, though, looked phenomenal. Drew Brees looked phenomenal the week before. I think this week it's going to be you're going to get a shootout game this week. I think Alex Smith, him and Ed Reed are going to be connected a lot on Monday night. And then you also got AP in there. I mean, this game's going to be high scoring affair, but I like the Saints to win.
It's in Washington?
And New Orleans.
Oh, yeah, Saints are winning that. I was going to pick Saints anyway, but yeah, Saints are going to win this one. It is going to be a high-scoring affair. Hopefully it'll be an exciting Monday Night Football game. We'll go from there.
And Bears and Buccaneers, they have the bye. I believe the Buccaneers did lose, though, already, so... go in there. They just got Jameis Winston back.
The only good thing about the Buccaneers having a bye week this week is Dirk Cutter isn't going to get fired this early in the season. They're going to wait a little bit because normally coaches get fired in the bye weeks.
And you still have Jameis Winston to get used to, right? Like you can get him back in the groove of things, so that'll be good for
He's
week
awful.
6.
He ain't
maybe?
going to be there next year. They don't want him back there. It's just horrible. And you're going to see how much he's not wanted in the NHL. I keep saying NHL. Since NHL started this week in the NFL, because some teams are going to want to go for him. The teams that have no quarterbacks, but he's just, dare I say it, a cancer in that locker room.
He will have to accept his position as a backup quarterback at some point in life. And obviously that's not going to happen with the Buccaneers because, Fitzmagic. The magic does run out every now and then.
He does that. He'll have 3-4 games where he's Fitzmagic, and then he'll have 2 games where it looks like he's never played football before. So
there you have it. That is all the games going on this week. We got some big playoff games. I guess we're getting ready to go watch, huh?
Yeah, baseball-wise, so go check that out. Good time of the year for baseball. Even if you're not watching it, do other stuff while it's on the background.
Well, one thing you can do is make sure you listen to this podcast while you're watching baseball. Get a little background noise. Throw the game up on the TV. Have it there at your computer, your headphones in. Who knows? I know everybody's working on a Friday. Got a few more hours before the weekend starts. Get ready to drink some cold beers. Go down to the State Fair. Gary Allen playing tonight, Arizona State Fair.
State Fair doesn't... I was going to say it's not open until October 5th.
Yeah. Welcome to October 5th.
I guess today's October 5th. NHL started for you. I know hockey's not a big thing in the radio business, but...
Not a big needle mover.
The Golden Knights got dominated their first game. I don't know what that final was last night.
That was tough.
Coyotes, who everybody's saying is going to they're going to run for a playoff bid this year, got dominated against Dallas yesterday.
George Strait, though, dropped the puck. How cool was that, George Strait?
I thought he was an Oklahoma guy, not a Dallas guy.
No, he's a big Texas guy.
Is he a Texas guy?
He's Texas.
That way all of his exes live in Texas?
All his exes live in Texas. He sang a song, if it wasn't for Texas. He sings a song, Does Fort Worth Ever Cross Your Mind?
I should probably pay attention to George Strait songs before I make those comments?
Yeah, Fort Worth is in Texas.
Is it?
Yeah, we drove right through it. That's where Buc-ee's is. We went to Buc-ee's in Fort Worth, Texas.
Wow, interesting. I remember we were looking for a barbecue place we never found because they closed early. So we ate at Taco Time or some weird
Taco Casa.
Taco Senor or something like that. I don't even know. It was weird. What a trade-off, right, everybody?
What a trade-off.
Real tacos.
Awesome barbecue to a taco stand at a gas station.
And my final thought on, because I know you love NBA in the offseason, because preseason NBA started, is I've never said this before, but I don't think LeBron looks good in Laker gold. Like, does not look good.
Yeah, it's an acquired taste, I guess.
I don't know if I'm going to get used to that. It is not a good look for him. Why is it that everybody else doesn't look good in Laker gold and purple, and then LeBron puts it on, and it's like, ew. Did you see he was playing into the fourth quarter last night, too?
Wow, really?
Yes, in a preseason game. Yeah. Let's get LeBron nice and tired in preseason basketball, so he can't make it very far.
I think he might be too black for the uniform.
I mean, there's darker guys that played those uniforms, I think. I don't know what it is, but there's something like maybe it doesn't fit him right. Because the Lakers do have that weird shoulder thing that the other teams don't have, like their shoulder parts are
all the way
wider.
out,
Yeah, and none of the other teams have that type of look. But I mean, I've seen him in it now several times, and it's just every time I see him, I'm like, oh my god, this doesn't look good on you. Maybe it's just the gold. Maybe the king doesn't look good with gold on, Jason.
Ooh, purple though is the color of royalty, and you all know he's royal.
I know, but they don't showcase the purple as much. So that's my NBA hot take right now: is LeBron does not look good in the Lakers uniform. You're welcome, America.
Well, me being a Dallas Mavs fan, more misconduct allegations are popping up. But hey, look at Doncic, looking good so far.
I wasn't gonna bring that up, but yeah, it's on the NBA radar. They're investigating it. They wanted it secret, but it's coming out now. So.
But they did do some big news yesterday, and another example of how dramatically the NBA is trying to embrace the gambling industry. The Mavericks have hired professional sports gambler Bob Voulgaris as director of quantitative research and development, a league source to tell ESPN.
What does any of that mean?
I don't know what any of that means, but I know that Voulgaris made a living betting on NBA games, successfully wagering based on his research and information, so he also does his homework.
You know who else made a living on betting on NBA basketball games? That ref. The ref did. Well, they hired that ref back. Whatever his name was. Because I know he does gambling stuff now. Because I hear him on Saturdays with some New York guy where he's like, the NBA insider. I can't remember his name all of a sudden. But, well, see, where we're going on this is, I think I told you, it's so in Europe, like when you're like English Premier League, for instance, you can sit at your seat and on your phone, you can literally bet what's going on the field while you're sitting there. And the NBA is pretty much made for that, right? So, and even then, the NBA announced that they're going to start selling, like the fourth quarter of a game, on NBA TV for like whatever it was, $5 or whatever for the fourth quarter. And then they're talking about even doing it like the last 2 minutes will be like $1.99. So they're all going that route. That just tailors right to gamblers at that point, So, because the last 2 minutes are one of the most exciting. So you're going to tune into that in order to put some money down. So, I mean, it's definitely going that way. The problem is leaving it up to the individual teams to do it just means there's going to be no
consistency.
Cohesion. Yeah, it's like almost like the league needs to spearhead it and kind of test things out instead of each individual team, because like Cowboys signed a deal with that Oklahoma
WinStar World Casino.
Yeah. They were one of the first ones, and it's like, I mean, God, the Cardinals they have 4 casinos, one right across the street from their stadium and 4 within like a 10-mile radius and everything. But that's where it's going to get a little awkward for the first 2, 3, 4 years is there's going to be no consistency from team to team to team to team. And I feel that's going to hurt too, so, but whatever.
So the Mavs and 76ers were playing a game in China yesterday, and here's a quote from JJ Redick on the reception from Chinese fans during his 28-point 10 for 10 performance. It was the most polite booing that I've ever received in my life. I mean, they booed and they cheered. It was like, we're mad at you, but we appreciate the way you shoot a basketball. So
He did apologize because apparently the booing got less polite after that, and he did apologize.
So there you go, fun stuff from the NBA, getting ready for that.
But isn't
season
that awesome?
start.
You're going over there to be an ambassador of your sport, and like Kobe Bryant made more money in China off of endorsements and everything than he ever did in America. The Chinese.
They go
crazy for basketball players, and so it just cracks me up how NBA goes over there to showcase it and be an ambassador and everything, and then you insult them. It's like you just ruined a multi-million-dollar endorsement deal in China, there, buddy.
But they booed him politely, so that's very nice of the China fans. Appreciate those fans for doing that for him, and we also appreciate all you fans out there listening to us. Don't forget, check us out on Spotify, Podbean, and the iTunes podcast app if you have an Apple phone. Got a lot of cool stuff coming up here as the football season winds down. MLB playoffs kick off, so I guess are getting started in high gear. So next week we should actually have some ALCS matchups, I believe, that we can talk about as we get down to the World Series coming up. Gonna have a few hockey stuff coming up here as we follow our home team, the Las Vegas Golden Knights. America's home team, am I right? America's home team.
Not if they're going to play like they did last night, Jason. There won't be much following of them. One comment that I make last night is Las Vegas fans don't realize what it's like to follow a hockey team when they have down years, because year one they go expectations are so high.
This year ain't gonna be down. They're gonna be there at the end. There's 81 more of these games.
I told you that story where a buddy of mine wanted season tickets for his company up in Las Vegas. So, he calls up the Raiders and they're like, oh yeah, come on down. We can get you, set up with season tickets, blah, blah, blah. He calls the Golden Knights and they're like, pretty much like, yeah, you in your dreams.
Yeah, you're not good on this list.
But I mean, like I said, we talked about it. It makes sense because the Golden Knights are the Las Vegas team. They didn't come from anywhere. Raiders fans, at least for the first 5-10 years, are simply going to be fans from out of town that travel to Vegas for football. Because Vegas fits itself perfectly for Sunday football. You fly in Friday night, Saturday morning, college football all day, in the casinos, everything. Sunday morning, you get up, you watch the morning games.
You get shit rocked on Saturday night.
You go to the stadium, you watch the Raiders play, and you fly out Saturday night. It just fits perfectly. I mean, can you imagine? Here, we get up at 9 in the morning, turn on the pregame, watch our first game at 10 until the time change, and then we get up and go to the game or whatever. So can you just imagine in Vegas waking up, going down to the sportsbook, watching the morning games, and then taking an Uber or cab ride over to the stadium to watch the game? It just fits perfect.
I cannot wait until my team plays there, because I'm definitely going to be traveling. Watch the Cowboys play in Vegas, as a lot of other fans are going to be doing as well. But I want to thank you, fans, for listening. Make sure you share us on Facebook, Twitter, interact with us. We love interacting with everybody on the social medias and all that stuff like that. And share the podcast. Rate it, too, on Podbean. We need some, or not Podbean, but on your podcast app and Spotify. We need some ratings. Five stars.
Nobody ever, subscribes or does anything. They just listen, which we appreciate, but we also need your help. Subscribe, people. Subscribe.
Subscribe. Because we have your prescription for a subscription. Boom. I just made that up and it probably sounded horrible. But thank you for listening. God bless you. God bless the troops. And God bless America. We out.
I don't even know what that